I'm Lindsay Harris, and you're listening to Feminine Grit, a podcast that explores life's unexpected paths, the obstacles we face along the way, and the journey to define what success means to each of us. As an entrepreneur, strategist, and real estate broker, I know how valuable a frank conversation with a strong woman can be. That's why I'm here, to help you own your place in the world and find your grit. Okay, so welcome to Feminine Grit. I'm Lindsay Harris, and today I have a special guest, Dr. Screven Edgerton. He runs Premier Health and Wellness in Austin, and it's a women's health, hormone replacement. He's been here how many years now?
Been doing hormone replacement for 19 years. Been in Austin for going on 21 years.
Okay, well, I was lucky enough to have found him, and today my good friend, Kristen Abell, who lives in Denver, Colorado, is with me. And we have had our own special journey of navigating this world of hormones. And we wanted to interview Dr. Edgerton to kind of he was integral in my journey. And we just want to educate women on this amazing, wild perimenopause, menopause phase of life. There's so much new information these days, and so we're just getting to the bottom of it and really helping educate women so that they have the tools and resources to navigate this. So Dr. Edgerton, thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure.
I really want to start, you're kind of a trailblazer for this because, there's a lot of new information, but most doctors, like Dr. Mary Claire Haver is on the scene. She's been really amazing in that she's uncovering this journey, and most doctors were not educated in medical school about women's health in this way. You've had this clinic for a long time, way before this kind of wave of new information. So tell us how you ended up in this, specialization.
Sure. Well, I'm a board-certified obstetrician gynecologist, so that was my training. I moved to town, joined a big group practice, and that was going to be my role, and enjoyed that. And got approached one day to, hey, would you like a little side hustle on being a medical director for a hormone clinic? And I had no idea what they were talking about. I was 2 years out of training. And so I said, well, it's kind of slow getting started here. The trend was women want women for their gynecologists. And so I was at a big group practice and not very busy. So I was like, I'm open to anything. But I know nothing of what you're talking about, and was very skeptical because I felt like I should have heard about this. Went to a conference, got completely blown away, not necessarily by what we were there to learn, but just that it was so missing in my training. And it was...
So this was 2 years out of medical school?
2007.
Oh, so that was early.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yep. So in 2007, I started thinking different, and was blessed to get in front of the right people and understand this is all scientifically based. So it's not just some theories about, oh, let's do hormones slightly different and we think that's the way to go. It's completely evidence-based. Came home, took an afternoon a week and started to see some clients, and an afternoon turned into a day, turned into 2 days, and ultimately quit delivering babies and moved out of the group practice and established Premier Health and Wellness about 15 years ago. And it's been a really fun ride and crazy successful. And reanalyzing the data every year keeps proving the same point, that using natural or bioidentical hormones is far superior to traditional methods of hormone replacement, and gives us so much more options, much less risk, and a lot of health protection. So it allows me to tell women, okay, we're going to hopefully help you feel better in the now, but we also get to think about your future self, your 70-year-old self, your 80-year-old self, for its benefits to your bone and your brain and your heart and longevity in general.
So you found this all out in 2007 when everyone else was pretty much saying no?
Yeah, in fact, I came back to all my partners and I offered them to be a part of my excitement.
Right.
And I put, a stack of data on their desk and, 7 or 8 other doctors. And I said, I think I found the niche I want. You're a surgical guy. You deliver all the babies in town. And I think this one wants to be my niche. And y'all can send me patients. I can send you patients. And they thought I'd lost my mind.
Yeah.
They were like, there's no evidence of that. And, because they're all ingrained in what
right. And you didn't learn about it in medical school?
No.
Or residency?
Yeah. My training in hormones was from the drug rep in residency. Like, hey, if you just happen to have a hot flasher,
hot flasher.
give them this.
Right.
That was it.
Right.
Oh,
well,
no.
okay.
Literally.
So, you were fresh out of, you were 2 years into your practice. So you really didn't
32, young.
Right. But you really didn't have, you hear these doctors talk about how they had this long history of, women coming in with these complaints and then not really, giving them migraine medicine or this or that, diagnosing all the wrong things when it was really perimenopausal.
Yeah.
So when you went to, this conference, who was this that who were you listening to?
Yeah, they were at the forefront of it all.
So my mentor to this day is a gentleman, a physician named Neil Rousier.
Okay.
And we are trained. He works through an organization called WorldLink Medical. Mm-hmm. And they are where I cut my teeth. He is extremely science driven. I remember from lecture 1, he's old school projector with the clear articles. And he would put up articles from my college, the American College of OBGYN, the JAMA, the Lancet, big research periodicals. And he would stop periodically and just say, why aren't you reading your own literature? It's right here. And I was like, I just feel so cheapened that none of this was disclosed to me.
Right.
I felt like I was invited. I'd gotten invited behind the curtain, like the Wizard of Oz. Like, oh, this is the secret society where we actually do good stuff in medicine.
Now, that research though, because what is it? The World Health, the WHO? The initiative that was done, the studies in 2000.
Women's Health Initiative.
Okay, so with the women's health, and this is before that,
yes.
these articles were written.
Yes.
Okay, so the Women's Health Initiative, they decided that they were really just studying the wrong group in the age group. It was over 60 was the demographic. With this information that he had, I guess I'm just trying to figure out I wonder what got him into it.
Yeah, he was an ER physician, and he's a big research reader, and he started treating some of his surrounding nurses.
Yeah, because everybody started
they all
to
started
lose
taking
it.
progesterone.
Yeah.
They all were on thyroid. He's like, no, you can't take that level of thyroid. Quit double dosing your meds. He's like, but we feel good, and we're doing better, and we don't have the emotional fluctuations by being on the progesterone and the estrogen. He's like, oh, maybe there's something to this. So it was just
Okay.
And he was doing it 10 years before I was.
Right.
And so I just, I was lucky to get in.
So this was in the late 90s that he was in the ER helping his
so I think
his colleagues feel better.
Late 90s, yep.
Wow.
So you get into this and through the year, how did you get your first patients? There had to be, if these other doctors in your practice were kind of clueless about it, how did you women have to be complaining of symptoms and you have to be able to recognize that this is what they need. So how did this come together? What were you seeing and how are you getting this clientele?
Well, I had my own patient base a bit. And I will tell you that the most unprepared patient, the unprepared I was for a patient was the late 40, 50 somethings that had no real gynecologic complaint or an obstetric complaint. It was the one that was saying, I don't feel good. My periods are off. I think my hormones are changing. I can't sleep. I have no sex drive. I'm dry as a bone.
Mm-hmm.
My brain is foggy. And a lot of them would have all of those complaints.
Yes.
And I've got 15 minutes to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
And what's interesting, in every gynecologist office, there's basically 3 cabinets of medication for samples: birth control pills, synthetic hormones, antidepressants.
Mm-hmm.
And you can fix a lot with that,
Mm-hmm.
but really you're not fixing anything. So you can regulate a cycle.
You're just putting a Band-Aid on.
You are. You can turn the ovaries off. The synthetic hormones did have a measure of symptomatic benefit, but they came with baggage and risk.
And that's what they were using in the early years with these studies, from what I understand.
That's exactly right.
Like Premarin was like made out of horse urine. All that was synthetic.
Yep.
Okay, so then you discover Bioidentical, like this doctor, what was his name again?
Rouzier.
And I read both of those books because you keep them in your office.
Correct.
It goes through like each category of medication. So that really helped me break it down to what exactly am I taking. So how did you start to implement this? Like you were that was your mentor, but was it just like basically, hey, were you doing blood work at the time? Like,
yeah, so that's where a lot of practitioners who are interested in this, how do you make that leap? You know, how do you go from your day-to-day regular medical job to start coming up, like, how do I see a patient? I need more time. How do I carve it out? How do I set up protocols? And so you really you got to jump in head first a lot of time. I originally had a business partner that helped organize it and drive some patients towards me because I was still juggling my other job too. And that had a lot of benefit in that I could, and then once we saw like, man, this is really successful. That's when we broadened out how many patients we could take on. And at one point I was like, I'm underwater with work. So I made the hard decision to drop obstetrics and just pursue this. Because quite honestly, delivering a baby and being there for that big moment is awesome.
Yeah.
But I think what I do now is
you're
more
truly
life-changing.
saving lives.
Yes.
Like my life was saved by my team when I finally got the right team, and her life was saved by you. So like, I know you're laughing, but you truly every single day are saving women's lives in some capacity, whether they can't leave their house due to all of their horrific symptoms, or they feel so off that they like don't even want to be buried anymore, or they hate their family, or you name it. And then just pretty simply, women can feel like themselves again, which is why she and I are sitting here today with you.
Well, we keep, like, Kristen lives in Denver. You know, she couldn't get testosterone cream in Denver. Like, it's just been this whole thing of, I went to multiple doctors and, you know, there's a lot of shame around perimenopause, even for women, like getting to that phase. It's like you're being put out to pasture in a way. That's the way our society has made us feel. So I was really resistant to, and plus, you know, I grew up, all the women in my family had hysterectomies early because that's what they did. They didn't understand it. Let's just give her a hysterectomy. Right. So I had no idea when the women in my family started menopause. I knew that my mother was miserable for years, battling all kinds of things. It was really hard and horrific for her. And so I had a stigma about hormone replacement because she was part of that group that they were on hormones and then all of a sudden they weren't supposed to take them anymore. Right. So navigating this journey, like I actually went to see you, got all the stuff, and then it was a year. I was like, no, I'm not ready. I'm scared to do this. And then when I turned 47, it hit me like a freight train. Like I had the, it wasn't panic attacks, but it was such severe anxiety and brain fog that I didn't even recognize myself. So, you know, Kristen had even worse mental health issues than I did.
And it was just one day. I woke up one day and my brain didn't function properly anymore. And it was wild. And I thought I was dying and that there was something severely wrong.
Very scary.
Very scary. And then all of a sudden I got the right amount of hormones. It took entirely too long. But now my mental health, I feel just like I did for the first 44 years of my life. It's crazy. But
But, your practice is so eloquent in that you do labs, you have a wonderful team, they all understand, and like just reading the labs is so important. Like, understand, like, the thing that everyone talks about is you can't necessarily go by blood levels with hormones when you're diagnosing it because it's all over the map. But once you start to take them, then you really use that to measure where these supplemental hormones or what levels you're at. But, just having a team that understands and speaks that language is so important. And it's really hard to find because we have
really hard to find in Denver.
Yes, but we have educated so many women, just like anyone we talk to, they're falling apart. So we're having these conversations.
Right.
So I just wanted to really celebrate what you're doing and let people know, that you're available here in Austin. You don't do telehealth. You have a brick and mortar, amazing, beautiful office in Clarksville, right at 9th and Lamar up on the hill. How did you assemble this team? You have these amazing nurse practitioners. You're all speaking the same language. They're highly trained. Tell us more about how this evolved, because I think it's really fascinating.
Sure. So there was some growth once we started doing this. So from 2007 to 2010, my original business partner and I, aside from an initial investment, didn't put one dime into the growing this. We were like, let's just see where it goes. 2010, it kind of started exploding a bit. And so that's when we were like, okay, because we were doing this, I was doing this in my extra OBGYN rooms at the time. And my other partners were like, I don't know exactly what he's doing over there.
But he's got a line.
There's people here.
But there's women that are happy. They're
skipping around over there. So it was when we moved in 2010 to the current location, we really needed to assemble a team. So in 2011, disagreements with the business partner, I kind of branched out. We rebranded as Premier Health and Wellness. And then I got to pick my own team. And so some of my patients some of my employees I've had since that moment.
Wow.
A couple of 15-year, including one of my nurse practitioners. So, and then we just scaled it out. We've been blessed with growth, but nothing crushing. So I can add an employee here as we take on new patients.
So it's all been word of mouth.
Mainly word of mouth. I don't do much advertising. I put my effort into my website, and that we pop up if you search hormones in Austin, but we have a good organic following too. But we do track all those things, and all the new patients of a month, probably 80% of them are word of mouth.
Exactly, because once you get that sorted out, we're going to spread the word.
Yeah, you do a good job.
Far and wide, especially now that people are a little less hesitant to share their symptoms and what has worked for them. Thank goodness.
Yes. So tell us everything that you actually do, you specialize in the practice, because you treat men and women.
That's correct. I never thought I would see men, after I'd kind of chosen a field in women's health. But interesting, Dr. Rouzier said at the very first lecture I heard him speak, he goes, be careful about energizing one half of a couple. And I was like, that's the strangest thing I've heard.
That's amazing.
What do you mean? And it is true, because my sweet patients will be like, things are going great. But you have to do something about Larry over here. He's killing me. We're not on the same page anymore.
Oh my gosh, you're speaking my language.
And please do something for him. And I was like, okay, I think we can figure it out. And so we developed panels for men. It's actually been nice to have some guys in there and visit with them. And I've got some great male patients. We're still, probably 75% women.
Right.
So are you mainly doing then testosterone treatment?
Yeah, so women are way more hormonally complex.
Yes, as we know.
As you know. And you go through menopause with just this, very dramatic drop off. And perimenopause before that, which is the zone of chaos, I call that. So men don't quite do that. We lose testosterone kind of gradually. Now, I had my own story. My testosterone was low in my 30s. So I was.
But how did you figure that out?
Testing.
Oh,
I would
so
have never.
from your blood work.
I thought I was just busy and tired.
Yes.
If I hadn't entered into this type of
you would have
practice,
just lived
I would have
through
never
it
done my own blood work.
like every other guy.
I'd probably be this big around,
Right.
Like not.
But that's
health
becoming
focused.
more and more common for low T in the early, like in your 20s and 30s even.
I've seen it. Yep.
And
For
is that
men.
mainly because of our diet here in the U.S.?
Hard to know. I mean, there's not one.
I feel like
One
we
thing
heard
depended
that
on.
lately, but I don't know if it's
or just sedentary lifestyle for a lot
Right.
of people.
Yeah.
Um,
All the things we're exposed to a lot.
Mhm.
There's a lot of chemicals in our
Yeah.
food. A lot of it comes in through food. A lot of it is exposure to other things. They're much less active. Genetically over the
Right.
years,
right.
we're
Well,
we're not like these.
not
Yeah.
out working in the
we're
field.
not working.
Buff
Yes,
guys
yes.
anymore.
We're not working 24/7.
Yeah.
Manual labor. I do think that takes care of a lot of mental issues, stress. Like it's when you're
yeah.
working hard, you don't
Well,
have
there's
time
a
to.
reason that other parts of the world that do still have communities of manual labor. What do they call it? The green zone?
Yes.
Blue zone.
Blue zone. I knew it was the wrong.
The ones that live.
Yeah.
Yes.
the
They
longest,
live
yeah.
to be the longest and the healthiest,
Yeah.
and because they are out moving their bodies day in and day out.
And it manages stress,
Right.
like all the things.
Oh,
But-
nature's Prozac is exercise.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, talk to us about like your process when a woman comes in to see you. Like, tell us about what the process is, because I don't think people understand.
Right. So the way we had to start most of medicine is how many people can we see in one day. A former associate in the old OBGYN practice, triple booking 10-minute appointments.
Yikes.
And, and a herd of nurse practitioners to get through. And I was always unsettled by running late. But the real thing is you're not spending enough time with your patient
Right.
to even hear them, much less treat them. And so you're just grabbing from one of those 3 cabinets, like, here's some birth control pills. I think that'll straighten you out. We'll see you in 6 months. Or here's some antidepressants. Antidepressants fill a void because they make people feel good. But it's not the issue.
No.
Hormones, hormone deprivation, hormone fluctuation, that's the issue. That's the root cause.
Right.
So our model is to spend time with the patient. So all of our new patients, it usually for their first 3 visits are an hour each. So we dive deep. Tell me what's going on with you. List all your problems out. Let's really talk it out. And most of the time that happens with the nurse practitioner first. And all they're doing is collecting information. We're not prescribing anything.
Right.
Then you go off and get your blood work done. And then you'll come back and either see the nurse practitioner again or see me. And then we really start a starting protocol. And then in 3 months, we need to test you again. Is our educated guess at what you need correct? Or are we way off? I have some patients, they come in 3 months, they're like, life-changing, the best. And then I have other patients at 3 months are like, meh. And I'm like, okay, we need to double down on this, and this,
Yes.
and this. Everybody's body's different. And I had a patient the other day that said, it wasn't until 1 year in that I could look at you and say, I get it.
Yeah.
That's what
Changing
happened to
things
me.
every
Yeah.
3 months. Yeah.
So the initial blood work is important because you see where they are, but that really, like, the hormone thing, it doesn't tell you much in the perimenopause phase because it can be different every single day that you test. So that's like a starting point. I guess you're looking at thyroid and all the things. Like I was low in vitamin D and B12 and so many deficiencies outside of the hormone panel. But, you were able to tell by my FSH, there was a couple different things that you were able to say you don't quite need estrogen, but you definitely have no testosterone and progesterone. What exactly is it that you like that equation where you know that maybe someone doesn't need estrogen yet? I can't remember what that is.
Yeah, so it's a product of spending time with the patient. So if you tell me your periods have been doing this over the last 6 months, I'm like, oh, there's some residual function there. Or if you explain to me your mood, or if you explain to me other physical symptoms, in doing this over and over and over again, I can kind of get a handle. I'm like, I think this is where you are.
Right.
And to your point, the labs may or may not reinforce that.
Mm-hmm.
So some of this is the art of medicine. Like I think where a lot of practitioners go wrong is that they sounds like menopause. I mean, you need estrogen, progesterone, testosterone. You need it all. Shotgun approach. Let's cram it all into one cream or one pellet, and there's no nuance to it. And
they're not listening.
some work. Sometimes
Yes.
that'll work. Most of the time, I don't think that's good.
There's so much nuance.
So much.
Oh
nuance.
my gosh, that's the wildest part, is that somebody can explain to you the exact same symptoms, but how you treat them
Can
for
be
one
different.
person, if we even share
Yeah.
the same list of symptoms. And
Right.
what worked for you is totally
Yes.
different than me, and
Yeah.
the order.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a lot of times, estrogen will stay good for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So if I have an inkling you're still producing estrogen,
Mm-hmm.
it's usually the co-balancing hormone progesterone that's wobbling around
Okay.
from day to day and month to month. And it can be very misleading because in perimenopause, you can have a stretch of months where you feel miserable and really a stranger in your own skin. And then you can have 3 months of like, oh, I'm back to my old self. And then it'll flip again.
Yes.
So zone of chaos for perimenopause. But a lot of mistakes are made is if it's off like this and the practitioner gives you both the hormones back, you've recreated the same
Yes.
problem.
Yes.
So it's
Right.
you need to give them the hormone that creates the balance, maybe bring along a little testosterone, and then assess thyroid,
Yeah, it's trial and
cortisol,
error.
some of the
Yes.
other things.
Yes, it is really like you have to have patience. Like we as women have to have patience for the process.
Right.
And it is a lot. It's a lot. I have all these things that I have to do every day, but I wouldn't change a thing because I feel so much better.
Mm-hmm.
But, it requires like dedication, and it is so nice to have someone who's going to listen, and you can have kind of a one-stop shop because it was like
I had to go to so many different people to finally get the answer, and I had to advocate so much more than I ever should have. Like,
Yep.
I knew what I needed, and I kept asking for it, and everyone kept telling me no. And looking back, it's just mind-blowing because my symptoms were so obvious
Right.
that my estrogen was completely depleted, or either way. But then the second I got on the right amount, I mean, I'm not joking you, the second every single somatic symptom disappeared.
Mm.
So, and then my life hasn't,
Yes.
I've been finally able to like spread the word that you can feel better and you don't have to feel like shit for the next 10 years of your life. Cause that's kind of what I'd resided to,
Yeah.
that like, well, I'll just be in this like horrible midlife phase. And then I know it'll get better, but it could be 10 years. It could be 3 years. Like no
Right.
one knows.
We
And-
just tell women to wait
yeah.
it out. I mean,
Oh,
all
yeah.
women go through this.
I know, and this is like really when I feel like I'm in the prime of my life just as a person. You learn to
Yeah.
you learn to speak your truth. You're comfortable in your skin. You get here and then it's like, oh shit. Like everything was coming together. Now my brain doesn't work. So like it's been such a beautiful
So
thing
true.
it's like, oh my gosh, like I wouldn't trade my age for anything in the world. But now it's like, okay, I have to do this and I'm just we're both living testaments like, oh yeah, we're just getting started. We just have to have the right hormones. But in that process, would you say from your experience, like even if your labs show like maybe a woman has enough estrogen, would you say that it's still like symptom based? Like even sometimes if the labs are showing, you have to listen to her symptoms and
100%.
okay.
Yeah, it's equal parts. It's not just I hate the idea of just treating numbers.
Mm-hmm.
We do that with cholesterol. We treat the numbers, got to get this number down. No, it's way more complex than that. Same thing with hormones. On this day, you had a pretty good day. I can tell you, I've seen, by seeing patients over and over and over again, I can see their. I've even been fooled, many times. Like, oh, you're perimenopausal, or you're fully menopausal, and then they'll come back and like, oh, their ovaries are kicking in again. So
It's wild.
it can be tricky. the great thing about using natural hormones is very little risk.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you have a side effect, most of them are out of your system in one day.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And
But
so,
when you say natural hormones, like exactly what do you mean?
so I mean a bioidentical replica to your body. So
Right.
if we took a molecule of estrogen out of your body and we made estrogen through soy or yams.
So those are compounded or FDA approved or both?
But either or.
You do. Okay.
Yep, either or.
Yeah.
So the chemical compound should be the exact match.
Right.
So your body should receive it as if it was making it.
Yeah.
Right.
It's got a receptor for it. It's got the detoxification process for it. And the flip side of that, a synthetic hormone, to be patented by a drug company, has to have a slight alteration
Right.
to it. But what we saw with like Premarin and Prempro, you can have over 10 foreign metabolites once your body is trying to break these things down. And so that's where the inherent risk comes from.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you take natural estrogen or natural progesterone, your body like does its thing and it gets out of your system and there's no baggage with it.
So the estradiol patch is technically bioidentical?
Correct.
Right. Okay.
So, like, the insurance will cover some of these things, but not all of things. And you're a cash-based business,
Correct.
you know, which a lot of people are going to because you can't, anyway, it's just...
It's really tough to get for me to keep my doors open if I see 7 people a day.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so insurance will not reimburse, even if you calculate and tell them you spent an hour with the patient. It's just really, really hard.
Right.
It takes an hour to explain what you've been going through because
Sure.
we don't even understand it.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, I run out of time all the time at the hour mark. I'm like, oh, we'll get into some of those other things next time. You know?
Well, like, just for women who are trying to navigate this within their insurance, like, I've noticed that, you know, estradiol, the creams, the patches, what's the progesterone in the prometrium pill form.
Yep.
But these things like that work for me, the progesterone trioche that dissolves under your tongue that are all compounded, plus testosterone cream, which you couldn't get
Which
in
I now
Colorado.
have
You now
shipped
have-
from Texas.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like a lot of practices, like your OBs of the world, they will not get you compounded stuff.
Yeah.
So this is why this, you know, you're in business because this bioidentical form that, you know, like there's pellet businesses and stuff. And that's what they talk about. If they're trying to sell you on one thing, you should run. It's a business.
You know what I found striking is that a lot of the social media famous doctors, the ones that have written books, and I've watched a bit of their stuff online, and I was shocked to hear that they don't use any compounding. They only use
The FDA.
the FDA approved pharmaceutical grade. I'm like, wow, that is phenomenally limiting. Because progesterone comes in 2 doses. Estradiol comes in 2 oral doses. Now, there's lots of mists, creams, and the key there is that the drug companies can also patent how something is formulated. So like Prometrium's original formula was peanut oil and progesterone. And they can patent that. So nobody can replicate that exact formula. But the progesterone in it is micronized natural progesterone. Same thing with estrace was the original estradiol pill. So there's some cleverness there, which is why you can still get bioidentical hormones in a pharmaceutical grade form. The compounding allows you to clean up ingredients. You can, because I have patients like, I want dye-free, sugar-free, lactose-free. I don't care if it tastes bitter. I want pure. Happy to do it. And if you're not into compounding, or understand the nuances or have a good relationship with your compounding pharmacies, you're really missing tons of tools that you could have in your toolbox.
Right.
I think you guys are lucky here that you have more options in the compounding world because it is hard to get in Colorado, and I don't I'm trying to figure out the disconnect, but I had to go through a doctor here to get everything. So I do think you guys have a little
Maybe more
optionality.
There's
That's
several compounding pharmacies here. Even some of the smaller towns have compounding pharmacies. So yeah, there are options. I still do a lot of mail order from compounding pharmacies out of state. The one I started working with since 2007 is still probably my go-to pharmacy.
And are they Texas based?
And they're from Utah.
Utah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what have you seen, I don't know, maybe in the last few years, like what has changed about your business? Like what are the new I mean, I don't know. I kind of want to know like how you've seen it change from start to here we are now, like
Right.
And the future. Where do you
Yes.
see this
Right.
side of the business going?
Well, I'll just first say that medicine and longevity discussions and biohacking and devices, it's all moving at light speed. It is a bit of a hardship to keep up with. There are lots of new buzzwords. I mean, I don't think hormones have even hit their main stage moment
No.
yet. But so for me, I have morphed from, we built the practice around hormone replacement, but hormones aren't everything to healthy living. So we have to have discussions about nutrition and exercise and gut health and brain health and mind-body practices and prayer and meditation and grounding and fasting. And so we talk about it all. But if you don't foundationally have nice level hormones, or in our world, optimized hormones, it's your ability to achieve good health will probably not be at its fullest.
Right.
So we do that foundationally, but then we talk about other things. I mean, peptides are the biggest buzzword.
Oh yeah,
now.
we're both venturing into that
Yep.
world.
And the most famous peptide in the world, Ozempic, is a peptide. Insulin's a peptide. There's almost a new peptide every month.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, or week I
and
think.
now we stack them together. Take
Yeah.
3 or 4 together.
There's a new combination every
Yeah.
hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the data, well, I think we know what they do, but the data of
Right.
the multitudes being on them and understanding that, probably not there yet. So
Yeah,
I'm interested, curious. All of it sounds cool and fun. I'm marinating a
Yeah,
bit and
right.
slow walking it, and
Right.
and plus all the new things on the block: hot
Oh, I
therapy,
know.
cold therapy,
I know.
red light.
It's hard
this,
to
No,
keep
it's
up.
hard to keep up.
It
with.
is. I like to. Once I got pretty proficient at hormones, I decided I need to keep up with as many things as I could. I've been doing a lot of reading on cardiovascular disease because that goes hand in hand with the hormones. And so I really decided I don't like to read. So I listened to all my books, and I've been able to just really crush lots and lots of books.
That's how I get all of my
when
information.
I exercise.
Yeah.
And that has really helped me kind of stay on the cutting edge of what's out there. So that's my method of doing my continuing.
So have you
medical
incorporated GLP-1s then into your practice?
We do, but I tend to say I'm probably the strictest doctor out there.
Because you want to see a little bit more research.
Not only that, I just everything I understand about them points away from it being a long-term solution.
Right.
But I've had so many patients look me in the eye and wag their finger at me and say, I will never, ever stop.
I know, because they say it's the miracle.
Yeah.
I have so many friends that
it's the drug of the century, for sure.
Right.
But it has baggage.
Yeah. And like you said, there has to be a foundation of health, really, if someone wants to live an optimized life. And I've listened to many podcasts on microdosing GLP-1s, and a person, it's just like any quick fix, right? If you don't have the basics and the foundation for longevity, or if
you don't change anything else.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You need to be metabolically optimized, really, if you're going to start that stuff, because otherwise it is, do you stay on it forever? We don't really know what that looks like, but
I had a patient lose 100 pounds.
Whoa.
Female. And it was great for her in a year. 100 pounds in a year. It's quite the feat. And I told her from the get-go, we are not coming back to this. This is a point A to point B.
Mm-hmm.
Please do X, Y, and Z, which she did none of. And within a month of being off, she was calling and asking to get back on.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I'm sorry. You
I'm not
knew
your
the
guy.
agreement.
Yeah.
And she just said, I'll just go somewhere else. Don't worry about it. And I was like, fine. I don't get my feelings hurt about that.
Right.
But slowing down your GI tract forever,
Yeah.
conceptually, I have some problems with that.
Yes.
You know?
You know, and that's the other thing is that, you know, everyone wants a quick fix. I'm sure it's frustrating, and you probably see this all the time as a doctor, but, you know, you can educate, but really it's just natural for people just to want to get to the quick fix, you know.
I have no shame. I deliver no shame.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a cheerleader. I do have to draw some hard lines, though.
Yeah.
Right.
And
But it's
because-
also the American way.
Yes.
We're a quick fix
Yeah.
society,
Yeah.
and we always have been, and we're so capitalism driven that it's like,
and it's so natural.
Yeah.
Like, say you struggle with your weight for years,
Yeah.
and you finally got the thing that got you there.
Yeah.
The amount of fear that goes with reverting back.
Yeah.
Right.
I can see why people would say, you know, I have to be on this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't ever want to go in reverse. You know,
Well,
they're
and
just,
I have
they're kind of
friends
tied to it.
that say that it's changed their life in so many positive ways
Yeah.
that they intend to be on it for the rest of their life. So as long as they know what they're getting into.
Yeah.
Well,
But you as a physician, obviously that's not the way that you...
I think we'll probably see better formulations.
Right.
If we can reduce or remove the amount of muscle and bone that's lost. Because I'm longevity focused.
Yeah.
Muscle's tied to
Yeah.
metabolism, it's tied to longevity. So, you know, JAMA put out an article a couple of years ago, up to 40% of the weight you lost could be muscle.
Right.
Right.
Which is what we're trying to
Which is
prevent.
bad.
We're trying to gain
Yes.
the bone density and the muscle mass for
Well,
longevity.
that's exactly
Yeah.
what I was talking about, is that if you are on those or microdosing, whatever you're doing, like everyone says you got to lift heavy, eat the protein. So there's a whole protocol
Right.
to counteract what, you know, from getting Ozempic butt or Ozempic boobs or, you know, just
Face.
exactly.
The face is the most obvious. Yeah.
And, you know, those are the
Ozempic
things.
vagina,
Yeah.
I heard.
Oh! I haven't heard that. Oh
Nobody
my gosh.
wants a droopy vagina.
Oh my God. Yeah, so like there's like a whole
Oh my
protocol, but
gosh.
most of the time people like they get on it, they start getting the results, and then all this other stuff falls by the wayside. So
I say testosterone, getting enough protein,
Mm-hmm.
a minimum of 0.7 times your body weight, and lift heavy things 2 or more times a week. The bare minimum you have to do to slow down that muscle loss.
right.
And so that's a lot of stuff to do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
And a lot of people won't do
Well,
all of that.
It's a lot of stuff to do just to be like,
Just to do all my hormone stuff every day is
Yeah.
a lot for me to be
Yeah.
like, wait, did I already do the cream? Wait, when do I have I brushed my teeth? Because then I got to put in the progesterone in the
Yes,
right
yes,
order.
yes.
And
It's
it's
a
just
thing.
funny.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter because I feel so much better. I will not mess up the hormones.
Yes, no, exactly.
Because I feel like myself again.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I'm trying to think like, so tell us again exactly where your practice is. Premier Health and Wellness.
Yep.
Just so people know how to find you and your
Yep.
website.
Yep. Premier Health and Wellness, 1010 West 9th Street. Our website is, the long version is austinhormonedoctor.com.
Okay.
The short one is premierhw.com. All our information is there, and we've redone the website a few times, so we're pretty proud of this one. But that's probably the best way to check us out and get the overall
Yeah.
flow of what we do. We have a med spa too. We try to
nice.
use natural skincare for the most part.
And you have supplements. You have all the things.
I handpick all the supplements and from all different companies because there's a lot of garbage supplements out there.
Right.
And so
Like I think the majority.
if you're getting them from your grocery store,
Yeah.
then you probably should think again.
Yeah.
There are some phenomenal supplement companies, and I can't tell you how many. the amount of reduction in my prescriptions, the more I get into supplements, because the supplements that we use work.
Right.
Well, I noticed that you have a new platform to buy products on that, like, I just got sent an email. What is that site? Because you're like selling things that you believe in.
Right.
You have a bunch of supplements in the office, but then you have this other site. So tell us about that.
So it's just a plug-in on our current site. It's so you can, we try to make it easy for everybody, and it's not always easy coming downtown Austin, and we have a lot of patients all over Texas and beyond. So everything we have in the office is actually online.
Okay.
So we'll ship anything to you.
And you can get to that portal from your site.
Yeah, at
But
the top
do
it
you
says
have
shop.
to come in person to become a patient? And then once you're a patient, or you can shop for supplements regardless?
You can shop regardless.
Okay.
Okay, so what about
You can come do MedSpot regardless.
Well,
Okay.
what about like somebody who's in, I don't know, BFE, and they're like, I need a hormone doctor. Is that something that you can do remotely with blood work? Like,
They need to be in Texas, and they need to come establish the relationship face to face.
okay.
But
and
then after
Beyond
that,
that,
you can.
yes.
Okay.
We can do phone calls. We can do telemed, and
you can have their
and
labs
COVID
done.
taught us how to function in a telemed society.
Right.
So, I mean, part of the things I dream about is like, hey, I can be in Colorado for 2
Yes.
weeks and still work
Yes.
Right.
and talk to my patients, and I can't lay hands
We can
on
go
them
skiing in Vail.
That's right.
Yeah.
Meet me there.
Yes.
Or Crested Butte.
I know.
Yes.
That's awesome.
I love the mountains, so I like to escape there from time to time. So
Heck yeah.
Well, all of Texas is there. Mexico and Texas.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yes. Yeah. Well, this is great. Thank you for letting us talk to you today.
my pleasure.
I've been so happy with your care. And I just want to say that, like, I was freaking out, not really understanding what all the stuff was for. And this wasn't even our scheduled time, but you took over an hour with me to explain everything. And that made me feel so cared for and confident in the process. And, it gave me what I needed to feel comfortable to, like, dig into this. And I'm so glad that I did. So I just really want people to know, like, wow, we have some great doctors around here, and this is an awesome practice that you have. So
Thank
From
you so
the
much.
get-go, she told me, she's like, you just need to find a doctor like mine in Denver. It can't be this hard.
yeah.
And then I think since I have found one or two, but I was already so far along. Like, I already spent thousands of dollars on blood work and this and that. And everyone I had to restart was like, well, that'll be $2,500. And I'm like, but I already have all the info. So we do have good resources, but there's like very few and far between, and there'll be more and more. As
One
people,
little tidbit for your audience is if they go search through the WorldLink medical site, you can find providers that are WorldLink trained, like me.
Okay. What does that mean? WorldLink trained.
So you can get certification. I mean, there's all of these ways to get. There's called A4M, the American Academy of Aging Medicine. You can be A4M certified.
Are you part of the Menopause Society?
I am not.
You should be on
You
their
should be
website.
on it.
Yeah.
North American Menopause Society is still a bit confused
Oh, okay.
about
Okay.
hormones.
Okay.
So that's
No.
different than the Menopause Society, or are they the same?
I don't know.
Oh.
Not in either one of those societies.
The menopause?
Doesn't sound like you need to be. Yeah,
Yeah.
you got a good thing going.
But
So
anyway.
WorldLink, we did at least they used to have a 4-part series. So myself and my nurse practitioners are all did all the training. There is a summit we go to every year. There's additional training. So in our little circle, and this is an organization that's been growing for 20 years. We're from all over. I mean, so if you have listeners that are outside of Texas, or then that can be a resource.
Okay,
You
just
may
to
or may
find a
not.
good, yeah.
Yeah, because I would stand behind if somebody's practicing the way Dr. Rousier has trained the rest of us, you're in pretty good hands.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and so tell us where they would look to find those doctors. What is it called again?
WorldLink Medical.
Okay.
Yeah. So
That's
Google
great.
that, find their website. There probably is a provider tab. I think I'm in there.
So anyone in Texas can establish care with you, and then it can be telehealth from there.
Yep.
That's
Okay.
awesome.
Yep.
Okay. Even what if they lived in Colorado and they just come to see you face to face? They have to be residents of Texas?
You have to act like you're in Texas when you're being
The rules
treated.
are squishy there.
Yeah.
It's not a great system, I will
Okay.
tell you. We are not supposed to practice across borders.
Okay.
Technically, if I was going to treat you, a Colorado resident, I need to be certified
Right.
in Colorado.
I happen to always be in Texas when I'm refilling my prescriptions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
So if you came to me, you can go anywhere to
Yeah.
see any doctor.
Yeah.
But you have to.
Right.
That's why I think the rules are not great.
Yeah, it's a little tricky.
And it's really hard to say, well, if I want to practice in 6 states, that's thousands and thousands of dollars a
Yeah.
year just to stay,
Mm-hmm.
just to have that ability.
Right.
And so I wish it would be a bit more of a reciprocation.
Do you think
or if I
that's
have a
going to
patient that
change?
moves away, then I can still treat them.
Yeah.
Do you think that's going to evolve in the telehealth world, or you don't see that?
I bet it will.
Because it should.
It certainly should.
Because I should be able to get care easily from someone a state away that went to medical
Right.
school, is trained in this
Certainly.
case, not trained the same way. But
Certainly in the space of if you can't find it
Yeah.
locally.
that's exactly.
What
Yeah,
about all these
exactly.
areas that don't have functional
Oh,
medicine?
yeah.
Well, that's what
You're saying I
we're
can't get on the
most
phone with my
interested in.
doctor in
Yeah.
Texas that I went to see
Mm-hmm.
and establish care with? That's not ethical.
Right.
Certainly doesn't keep the patient
No.
interest in mind.
Right.
So I think there could be a lot of correction there
Mm-hmm.
and a better system. And, it's the same argument we have with insurance companies. Like if, Nevada has a great plan and I want to be on it, I can't be on their
Yep.
plan.
Right.
So we should have some competition across
Exactly.
lines.
Exactly.
And, let the best man win.
Yeah, well, it's all shaken out because the consumers are getting smart.
They
so,
are.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
Thank goodness.
That's what's changing the face of it. Like,
The funny thing is, a lot of the awareness in the last couple of decades for hormone replacement has come from celebrities.
Oh, yeah.
So Oprah was like the main one, Suzanne Summers,
yes.
and now it's influencers, insta-famous doctors. The people that are lagging the most are us,
Exactly.
the
Well,
physicians,
Which is really
the medical
sad.
community.
yeah, but when I was going down the peptide wormhole, like, I came across this story that, like, celebrities have been on human growth
Oh, yeah.
hormones
Why do
for
you think
years.
J-Lo looks so
Oh, for
good?
sure.
Yeah, exactly. I had no idea.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think she looks that good genetically.
yeah.
But also, she's
Yes.
been
So
using
it's
that
like-
for 20 years,
Oh,
I
yeah.
think.
The celebs have been in the know.
Well, athletes and maybe celebrities have kind of ruined it for us too.
Yeah, exactly.
Because FDA got wind
Right.
of a lot of the use of growth hormone against its intended use. Now, I've studied growth hormone at length, and the research is good, and the risk is low. You're not going to grow cancer. You're not going to grow a third arm, or it doesn't make things grow. It should be called a healing hormone, and so the research is really good on that. However, the FDA goes out of their way to say this should not be used in an anti-aging capacity or
Yes.
off-label other than its intended
So
use.
why do you think is the FDA just trying to keep? I don't know. I just feel like there's like a whole. I don't know if we want to get into that, but it's
It's
like
the politics of medicine.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, I think there's a knot of not keeping the patient in mind
Yeah.
when it comes to the three-letter organization.
Yeah.
And that was never more clear than during COVID.
Yeah.
The level of misinformation and the suppression of good information was the most aggravating thing I've ever experienced in medicine. Because I did not think like the rest of the world when it came to the pandemic. And there were clearly some great ways to treat the virus and help people without having to do vaccines.
Yeah, I know.
So that unfortunately put a lot of us in the medical community on high skepticism.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I think a lot of people left the medical community
Oh.
after that, so it's a sad deal.
Yeah.
But I really hope I have 2 sons that are young adults, and I see how they how they navigate the political climate and just their own knowledge, independent thinkers. Everyone says our society is going to hell in a handbasket, but I will say that I watch these young kids educating themselves and taking their power back, and they're a lot smarter than they get credit for.
Mm-hmm.
So I do think that this research, even if it's not in the medical community, it impacts everyone because they're forced to play by different rules than they have before. Right. So I do think that in the future, even though, how everybody talks, it's all going to shit, but it's really not, because I still have faith in this younger generation to pull us through and really provide knowledge and great care. And I think there's going to be a big shift.
Yeah.
So.
Well, if medicine is moving at light speed, and it is,
mm-hmm.
that means pretty bright horizons.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, we could be, our own enemies and the culprit of our own destruction, but I think there's some pretty cool things.
Yeah, exactly.
That can happen, that should happen, and so it's always better to stay optimistic about it all.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, you're providing great care to your individual patients, and that's really what matters.
Right.
And that's just going to be in any business when you take care of your customers, your patients.
When I was so frustrated with the pandemic, I had to tell myself, ignore the noise, concentrate on who's in front of you.
Exactly.
One patient at a time. And for me, that's all that mattered.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you for taking the leap of faith when all of your partners said, what are you doing? Because that's kind of how we've always been. If somebody says no, then maybe there's something to that. And if everyone's saying no, maybe we should dig a little deeper. So thank you. Because if people hadn't taken that risk, we'd still be probably where we were with this black label warning would not have been removed, and women wouldn't be getting the
We'd
care.
We'd be locked up.
Yeah, I would be.
So thank you so much for
my
this
pleasure.
time.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
this
it's a pleasure.
Been really fun, really cool.
Yeah, you're a wealth of knowledge and obviously a trailblazer. Very cool.